Hello everyone. This video is slightly different to other videos. It is a custom figure review, but it's not like the others. This is a mini showcase into an idea that I've had that I'm happy to work on, and that if people like and would like to see more of, I will expand on this idea. And by expand I mean I will make more figures in this line. I will think of more characters, more story plots, everything else I will do. So, here we go. It's been a year since the Swarm have been completely wiped off the face of Serra. There are no more Swarm, there are no more Lambent, there are no more Locusts. It is just the humans of Serra. While everyone else is starting to rebuild and create more life and try and put the world back to what can only be classed as normality, there is one person who believes something else is on its way. That man being Damon Baird. Intelligent, sarcastic, loudmouth. But the man knows what he talks about. Been around long enough to know when something doesn't feel right to him. The Hammer of Dawns have become completely useless now. There's no need for them anymore. The humans have signed agreements all around Serra. There are no more human war. They will spend their life working together, living in peace. No more weapons, apart from the obvious weapons for every military, because they, like I said, there's still a chance something could happen. But in terms of like missiles, rockets, Hammer of Dawns, non-existent, gone, forgotten. So Baird decides, instead of getting rid of the Hammer of Dawns and the satellites, to make a new Serra protecting machine, which he controls from his lab. He asks Marcus and Cole to come to his lab to discuss this new plan. So here is Marcus. Here is Cole, the three old remaining survivors of Delta Squad. Marcus says, Baird, tell us about this. He goes, right. Swarm are gone. No more grubs, no more Lambents, big whoop. However, what if there's something else on its way? As one thing bad goes, something worse comes. The Locust came. They was like, oh, that's horrible. Then the Lambent came. Oh my god, this is worse than the Swarm. He said, what are we going to do next if something just appears? Okay, so this is the plan. I've turned the Hammer of Dawn satellite into a Serra protecting machine. From this computer in my lab, I can detect through the world satellites for a big scanner for any non-human life that isn't the animals on the planet. He's got all data logged, every animal that exists, everything. And if it's a humanoid type figure or form that's non-human, they go and deal with it. Marcus has gone, right, so how, does it work? Baird says, well, maybe. Cole's like, wait, you're saying maybe? It's your machine. Alright, Marcus, I don't trust this. He's not 100% certain. Baird's like, I'll test it and show you. You know what I mean? Presses the button. Satellites link up. Big pulse of energy hits the ground. All of a sudden, computer sparks. Machines go haywire in his lab. Scanners have gone off, but the machine's still ticking and wiring. Marcus and Cole's like, oh, for goodness sake. Baird, it's bound to have a few kinks. I've never tested it before. All of a sudden, this gigantic dark mass starts appearing in an oval form and just keeps growing and growing and growing in this lab. So they all back off a little bit. They all get back. They have no idea what's going on. There's weird noises. Ignored Baird's loose head. There we go. They hear weird noises. They hear sounds. They hear muffled grunts and moans and no idea what's going on. All of a sudden, this gear appears in front of this hole. They're like, who the hell are you? This big bulky gear, never seen him before. State your name and rank, Marcus says. Sergeant Rahm of Delta Squad. Marcus and Cole look at each other. Baird goes like, hey, you know, not really time for jokes. We're in the middle of a, hey, something serious is happening. You know, cut the wisecracks. He goes, no, it's on his armor, it's on his cog tags. He is Sergeant Rahm of Delta Squad. And he says, don't know who you guys are, but we gotta run. They're like, why? He goes, something is chasing me. I was running away from it and I've ended up here. It's probably not far behind. So they go, right, well, you know, come with us and we'll get more from you. So as he starts going towards them, he's like, yeah, we need to kind of get out of here quite quickly. Let's put him, don't want him. Wait, no. All of a sudden they hear humans. They go, wait a minute. No, and no. A big Theron foot comes out of this hole. This is Marsus, aka Marcus, as a Theron. So they have no idea what's going on. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to completely end it right there because I'm still writing parts of the story. There's going to be more characters in future. What, in future? In future. Right, so let's move the actual figures out of the way because, as I said, this is a custom figure review. Well, by the way, this is actually a custom. I have actually made a video for Old Man Baird. He will be uploaded after this. But this review is about Rahm, well, Sergeant Rahm, I should say, and Marsus. So, these guys are coming from an alternate dimension of Serra, where the Locust are winning. Humans are being killed and wiped out. All missions to try and wipe out Locusts have failed. About 90% of COG forces around the world dead. There are only a few remaining. One of them being Sergeant Rahm. And the only reason he's surviving is because he's got under his armor, which goes through the back of his armor, is keeping him breathing. So he's got this tube that goes into his back, through his lung, through the armor, and it's keeping him going through this tank. Now this tank has to be changed, and he can survive a little bit on the air. But who knows, due to alternate timeline, that may be able to get fixed. Let's bring him in a bit closer. So this head, the eyes are not the best. I am going to try and rework these eyes at some point. But this is actually a Hulk head from a smaller figure. But I was trying to think, how can I make General Rahm look like... Well, he's technically Oozle. How can I make him look like a human? I don't want to use a Rahm head because it looks too Locusty. So how can I use a human head? And I thought, he's got that oval look. Like, I could see Rahm slightly, and he's got the similar kind of like bottom lip expression. So I thought, okay, that could work. I did give him like dry brush silver with a dry brush light purple with a hint of gold, like rust on certain parts. I gave him the shotgun shells on the top there, one shoulder pad, and then obviously got the back, got the tube there, the canister. Yeah, so that's him. That's him. That's Sergeant Rahm of Delta Squad on the Serra Point 2. This is Oozle Marsus. It's got the scar there from when he was torn apart by a couple of wretches when he was going against the king of the Locusts. He had his face torn. It's got the Locust bandana with the Locust symbol on it. He's got rustic gold with some nice like metallic rose colour there on the collars there. It's got these lights on the shoulders which go around. It's got some rose around here, but it's mostly like just rustic gold, bronze kind of uniform. So yeah, so Marcus is a Locust. Now the thing that we all know about Marcus Phoenix is he's literally, I think out of anyone the Cogs have ever feared, including Locusts, Marcus is one of them. He's the most skilled fighter. He's the most dedicated to survival. So imagine all those traits in a big ass Locust. This is my multiverse kind of thing. This is my alternate timeline. So here's an example of this, if I don't break any customs. So this is like Marcus, Ultimate Edition Marcus, and then you've got Marsus. So bring him closer, he's even got, which you could barely see, a white and grey soul patch there. So that's Marsus. This was also a custom. Just, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make this. I had really thought about doing this. There will be other characters. Like I said, there is going to be a king of the Locusts. There is going to be other characters. There is going to be a squad for Marsus, and there's going to be a squad for Sergeant Ram. I was very happy doing this. I enjoy the idea of alternate timelines, different universes. You know, Ram is kind of like the Locust equivalent to Marcus. He's got the same ideals, the same traits, the same personality. You know, he cares about his people, wants his people's survival, will do anything to make it possible, cares about his queen. So imagine him as a human. But the problem with Ram, the fault of Ram, was Ram also knew he weren't going to last forever. Marcus doesn't say he will, but he also acts like he can't die, which makes him more dangerous, because it means that he's more prepared to do something that others won't. So Marcus as a Locust is just a great idea that I would have loved. But he's called Marsus because obviously Locust doesn't have humans' names, so you can say that about Ram, but I mean, there are people around the world that probably... I actually know someone who is... Okay, he's not called Ram. He is called Ram, but his name is spelt like Ram. So, that's possible. But Marsus is more of a Locust version of Marcus. Just a bit of a hint. He does have a tattoo here. It's meant to be like a blood tattoo. You can't really... In person, you can see what it says, but on camera, you can't. It says Anka. Not going to tell you who Anka is. But you'll see. But anyway, yeah, these are just my customs of an alternate universe of Gears of War. If people like this idea and want me to branch out on alternate characters and see where I go from there, don't forget there won't be that many COG, because I said 90% on their planet are gone. There's just a few remaining. And I know people are also going to say, oh, but it's an alternate timeline, so doesn't that mean that, you know, all humans would technically be wiped out? Not really, because don't forget, also some alternate timelines don't coexist at the same time. Some do, but some are also delayed by a few years. So these are years prior, before Lambent. But I'm not going to get into a story about Lambents. I'm not going to get into it because that's a different thing for a different timeline, different video. But this is this timeline. So Sarah is actually being overrun, hollow and surfaced by Locusts. Humans are in hiding, apart from the select few who are still trying to fight for survival, which is Ram and some of his members of his squad. I hope you enjoyed these customs. I hope you enjoyed this idea. I hope you enjoy a lot of my customs that I do. If you do, let me know which ones you like and which ones are your favourites. I am on Instagram. I did my first Instagram live stream the other day, which was so much fun. Some great people on there talking about my top 10 best and worst Gears of War NECA figures in the line. And I will be doing top 10 like favourite customs or top 10 figures I would like to exist and stuff like that, like I did for this channel. But as a live stream. I'll also be doing Gears of War Q&As about the figures, mostly more. But I'll also talk about the games, I'll talk about the graphic novels, and when I start reading the books, I'll talk about the books too. Anyway, that is it. I hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and I shall talk to you all soon. Take care, and goodbye.